Russo's Playbook. Alright, what's up everybody? We're back with another episode of NFL Rundown here on Russo's Playbook. It's episode 10. You can find it on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can read up on our blogs at russosplaybook.com. You can catch us on Twitter at Russo's Playbook, at LittleBlack22. How you doing today, hon?
What's up, everybody? I'm doing good, hanging out, got the day off, ready to talk about some football, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Chilling in Hawaii. I'm sure it's nice weather out there. We got some chill this morning, bro. It's been chill.
Really?
Yeah.
Already? Yeah. Cold season for you guys. It's looking like it's about to be the wet season for us, where it just kind of turns gray and rains a lot. So I'm soaking in as much sun as I possibly can.
As you should. But we got plenty of stuff to talk about today, a lot of headlines, then we'll touch on some of the Sunday games. First, obviously, we got to start off with Jon Gruden. He stepped down from the Raiders head coaching job because there was an investigation into Dan Snyder, actually, the Washington football team owner. And emails were found between Jon Gruden and one of the Washington football team presidents, one of the higher-ups there. It was just a lot of racism, a lot of just wrong stuff.
Misogyny,
yeah,
like all the wrong things that you could possibly do in 2021, Jon Gruden's been doing for the past, 10 years, apparently.
Yeah. So it's been bad. I mean, he came at DeMaurice Smith, the NFLPA guy. Then he came at Michael Sam, the first openly gay NFL player who came out right as the draft, and the Rams drafted him. Just plenty more that he also discussed. I'm sure plenty that they hid from us as well, that they're not telling us. But, overall, he stepped down for it from 2011 emails, and as he should. I don't think he deserves a job or work with anybody in that environment. If that's what he's going to say, and that's the jokes he wants to make, why be here?
And, just to kind of go off of what you just said, it's really crazy because the things that he was saying, they kind of completely, totally disregard his team, right? He has Nassib on his team, who is now an openly gay player. He has I can't remember her name. Oh, it's going to kill me. But there's a coach for the Raiders who's a woman, one of the first women coaches to ever be in the NFL. They have, I believe, a Hispanic coach, a black coach. Basically, Al Davis did a great job of bringing in all this diversity when it comes to coaching, when it comes to athletic trainers, when it comes to this, when it comes to that. And every single email that he had something to say about it. Had something to completely put down and shun what was going on with their program. And I just think overall, it's just, he's long gone, man. The one thing I did want to ask you and bring up, though, is the NFL also came out and said that, they were basically ending their investigation. Do you think that's BS, or, you really think they didn't find anything else, or are they keeping some people safe?
Yeah, I think they're keeping some people safe. I think Dan Snyder, the Washington football team owner. You're telling me all those emails and all you found was Jon Gruden? Come on, what'd they say, 40,000 emails?
It's way more than that. I think it's literally hundreds of thousands of emails that they're trying to go back on. And just to make things worse, it's just they've already known about the bad stuff that Dan Snyder did, right? They've already called him out for the things that he did to the cheerleaders, everything in between. But out of nowhere, Jon Gruden kind of just got swept into this mess with them, became the bigger name of it all, because it's whoa, this is Jon Gruden, coach of, the Las Vegas Raiders coming out, and it's just it's completely falling on him. Dan Snyder will get his eventually. I think everybody knew that for the past couple of years now, but for them to say that this investigation is over, I think a lot of people are scratching heads on whether this was completely directed at Jon Gruden to begin with, because he's got beef with a lot of people in the NFL for a while. Him and Roger Goodell do not like each other,
and he had some emails going at Roger Goodell as well.
That's what I'm saying. He used some real derogatory words, calling Roger Goodell some things that he definitely should not have done. But I'm just saying, with hundreds of thousands of emails, there's no way that there's not a couple other coaches who could be going after this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're definitely. It would seem like there should be more players going down. Or, I'm sorry, not players. More people going down for this. And really, it's just, they just took it out on Gruden. So that was, my point, just bringing up the Roger Goodell thing, because if Roger Goodell really took that offensive, and was like, all right, I don't want you being a coach here in my league anymore, well, then I'm going to pick out every bad email that you sent and make it known, you know? So, I don't know, man. I think there definitely could be more, obviously. I don't think, like, because Dan Snyder's technically the boss of Roger Goodell, you know what I'm saying? Like, he works for the owners. So, how can you really sit here and say, as we've seen, I want this owner out? You can't. I mean, he should have been out years ago then. So, it's a tough situation for sure. But my question to you, real quick, do you think the Raiders can still compete? Because we saw them on this Sunday compete with the Broncos and win that one. The team looked good. But then last Sunday, they completely laid an egg. So, I mean, which Raiders team do you think we're moving on with?
I think it's going to be the same Raiders team we saw from the years previous. Not from the one that, like, you know, they're going to get a couple of good wins where you're going to be like, exactly what you just said. Last week they laid an egg. This week they looked good in a 34-24 win. However, I think that's how the rest of their season is going to go. I think it's going to be a very 500 season. You know, maybe like 9-8, maybe 10-7 kind of thing. Yeah. Maybe make a wild card. But at the end of the day, this is way too much for everything and everyone going on. I think, especially for a brand new organization, or not brand new, but you know, new to Vegas at least. They've got a lot, you know, that's a lot of like drama. That's some real thick stuff. And if they do make it out and they continue to win, bravo to them. But I just think, you know, who is it? The special teams coach is the one who's taking over, I believe. Yeah. Or something like that. Yeah. And he's not, I mean, he might not do a bad job, but it's going to be a weird time for them, man. There's going to be so much media and publicity going on. A lot of these players are going to be asked probably about Jon Gruden. It's just a lot of distractions for them to deal with. I don't know, man. I don't see them kind of having this insanely superb year that they started off with. I think it's going to kind of die off a little bit, unfortunately, for them.
Yeah, I'm going to follow up right with you. I agree 100%. And like I said, like you mentioned, we've seen how they are in the past. And I mean, with all this nonsense coming into play now, it's just, I don't see it getting better. You know, where do you get better from that? You know, yeah. I think it's kind of, this is going to be another wash season.
Yeah, they're going to be changing a lot of things around too.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll probably stick to like something around the same game plan and stuff. But, you know, Jon Gruden was this kind of like run heavy, run it down your throat, play action kind of guy. And I think that worked out well for their offense and, you know, some different things like that. Like his like mentality of football, I should say. Yeah. Like, you know, he really, the hard hitting, old school kind of play. But with them gone, I don't know, man. Maybe they're able to even execute on a different way that we haven't seen before, though, at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, get Henry Ruggs in the mix with a little bit of speed, be able to change it up. But I don't know. I'm going to be sticking to my wits on what they've shown us in the past couple of years.
Yeah, I'm starting to lean towards that as well. I know I gave him lots of props over the past few weeks, but yeah, definitely gave it to him a little early, but we'll see. We shall see how the rest of the season plays out. Another situation we want to keep an eye on, and that's Cam Newton. He comes out on his YouTube channel yesterday, says he's received interest from teams. He's confirmed that he's got the vaccination now, so I think more teams are calling for him, and he said he's had offers. And one team that popped up that seemed interesting to me is the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, listen, Geno Smith didn't play terrible. You know, he wasn't too bad, but I think he's just, I mean, he is what it is. He's been a backup for this long now. So I think bringing in Cam to at least compete and see if he can be better than Geno with this offense, I think you got to do it if you're the Seahawks. I mean, I like the fit personally with Cam. Kind of is almost the same like style player that with Russell Wilson, you know, running around, make a play, that type of thing. But at the same time, is it going to be okay if you do sign Cam and then Wilson comes back? What if Cam leads you on a 6-7 game win streak? Is there going to be problems?
Don't put it in Russell Wilson. I don't care.
Well, obviously I would. Obviously
Russell Wilson will forever be the quarterback there, but I know what you mean.
How does Cam feel about that then? Like, is it worth signing Cam to then have him be a hassle when Wilson comes back? If that's what happens, you know?
Well, I think that's what you let him know when you sign him, though. At the same time, you're like, hey, man, we're giving you the shot that, you know, if you don't want to play for Seattle, you don't have to. You can go and be a second-string quarterback for whoever else. But at this point in Cam Newton's career, I think that's exactly what he's going to be, is a second-string quarterback anywhere else.
Yeah.
You know, could he start for a couple of these teams? Sure, I think he might be better than maybe like the 32, 31, and 30th starting quarterbacks in the league. But at the same time, he is a strong, just he's a strong guy to have as a backup. That's like a great backup quarterback in today's day and age. I was surprised that New England didn't keep him around to have him be the backup for Mac Jones. Whatever happened there happened. But for him to go to Seattle, I agree with you. That's the kind of offense that he needs to be playing with. He needs to be playing with one that can depend on him to kind of get loose on his feet. He hasn't had that strong arm that he came into the NFL with, but if he can find something to get underneath with like Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, he's a great fit. However, if he is that great of a fit and he wins 6 straight, I think you just like I said, you got to just let him know in the beginning, like, hey man, this is Russell Wilson's team, and it's going to forever be that way. It's going to stay that way. But if you want the opportunity to, play on a team that actually has the potential to maybe, get into some kind of NFC championship, I want to call them Super Bowl contenders, but you can never count out Seattle. You never know what's going to happen.
Their defense is horrendous.
yeah, you're not wrong. Jamal Adams, man, he's terrible. Great on the blitz. Terrible in coverage, I should say, actually.
0 sacks this season still.
Yeah, I know. He's getting paid a lot of money to not be doing what he's supposed to be doing. But yeah, man, I like, there's so many second-string quarterbacks that you could say where it's just like Cam Newton is way better than that guy. Yeah. So if it isn't Seattle who's going to pick him up, it's going to be someone else. But there has to be some kind of interest for Cam Newton nowadays.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And if you listen to what he said on his YouTube channel, there's plenty of interest going around. So another player I want to talk on, Zach Ertz, traded to the Cardinals. It was for cornerback Tay Gowan and a 2022 5th-round pick. I mean, I think it's a steal. I think that's going to immediately bolster the tight end room for the Cardinals and just be another dynamic playmaker for him.
Yeah. I mean, it's just good on the Cardinals, man. They've been doing this all, in the offseason, getting J.J. Watt and a couple other names. Like, they knew that they were trying to complete their team this year. And, only undefeated team left in the NFL. They went out, they just got Zach Ertz. Maybe he's having a couple of down years, but we all still know what Zach Ertz is capable of, especially as a receiving tight end.
Yeah, as we saw on Thursday night.
Yeah, seriously.
Good numbers.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's going to continue to play a role. I think, that was highway robbery. I feel bad for the Eagles, but at the same time, like, if you're not going to, this whole Zach Ertz getting traded thing's been going on for a while now.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was just them or him kind of waiting on what team would be the best option for him to get picked up by, and I think he found a good home in Arizona. I mean, him, Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk, there's a lot of people on that team who are just, gonna cause a headache for any defense, so good on them. But we'll see what ends up happening, man.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I think they're in that all-out mode for this year, especially with Chandler Jones. They know they're not going to pay him next year, so he's probably gone. Zach Ertz is on a 1-year rental, basically. He's probably gone. A.J. Green's 1-year rental. Christian Kirk's contract's coming up. J.J. Watt's 1-year rental, I believe. No, 2-year, 3-year?
I think he was 2.
Yeah.
2 years.
But as you see, I mean, it is definitely let's get this done this year. With Kyler Murray's contract coming up, I mean... So you got plenty to do. So I think they're in that all-out mode for this year, and I think they get it done. They're a sneaky good team.
Yeah.
Not even sneaky anymore. Now they're like 6-0. They're not even sneaky.
The way that they just beat up on the Browns, I think, speaks for itself. Yeah. They're, I think in last year, something that I realized about them was it took them a while to get started up. The Cardinals weren't really, coming out and firing on all cylinders. But I think in their past 2 or 3 games, they've scored on their first drives every single time. And it's just, I mean, they're a whole different team. It's a whole different beast this year for them, and they have just gotten better and better by the week. So obviously they're a team to watch out for. Who knows? It's a really long season. What's going to end up happening towards the end? But for now, I would say there are a lot of people Super Bowl favorites. I think so.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely rooting for him. Big fan of Kyler Murray. But one more topic I wanted to touch on real quick before we get into Sunday's games, and that's LSU and Coach O agreeing to part ways. I thought it was shocking, but Yahoo actually reported that he basically lost the room. Players didn't want to play for him. Coaches didn't want to coach for him, and that's how you end a relationship like that. But I mean, you don't see that often in college after winning a title. What, 2-3 years ago now?
Yeah, yeah. Sheesh, man. I wonder if that has something to do with it too. Like, like Coach O used to be that he was definitely a player's coach before.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow loved him. He was the reason why Joe Burrow came over from Ohio State to LSU. Maybe he just lost his way a little bit. Like, I think that's got to be like the only answer. Like, you win a national championship, maybe you kind of let loose a little bit. You get a little bit too cocky. Because even in their first game, he was talking shit to the fans from UCLA. Calling them like, get your sissy blue shirt down here. Like all this crazy stuff. It's like, damn, Coach O, like, I kind of love the energy, but at the same time, like, taking a little bit too far.
Well, you can't. You also can't lose after that either. You
can't
lose that game after that.
They got beat up on by UCLA that game. So, the other thing too is I didn't expect them to win like another national championship right away after the whole Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase year and stuff. Like I knew their team was still going to be good. Still very competitive in the SEC, but it's asking a lot unless you're Alabama to kind of go back-to-back years or can continue that. But, yeah, that's crazy to me, man. It's only been 2 years since they won that national championship, and he's walking and everybody's happy about it. So something must have been going up. Someone stirred the pot, but I'm interested to see where he goes from here, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if it's true that coaches didn't want to coach for him, players didn't want to play for him, then it might be hard to get another job for sure if that's true, if he did something wrong, towards them or whatever. But I mean, if that's just a cop out and they kind of want to just restart with a new coach, LSU after this year, I mean, I'm sure he'll get picked up immediately by somebody else. He's still a great coach. He's still, you don't win a title by accident. So
and he's been all around the SEC, man. He was there for Ole Miss. I'm pretty sure he had experience in Arkansas too.
I think so.
And, now LSU. So, I mean, he's been around. He's always been in college football. So, he'll get hired somewhere else. It's just a matter of who's willing to take the risk and, if he's going to change.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely for sure. Always something to look out for. But let's jump into these Sunday's games. I got 3 of them I kind of want to touch on. First one's got to be the Jaguars out in London against the Dolphins, getting their first win, 23-20. Urban Meyer's first win as an NFL head coach. Good for him. Hopefully he didn't party too hard in London. Listen, there's cameras out there too. Just be careful. All right? It still comes back to Twitter.
Seriously.
No, it was a great win for them. Came down to a field goal to win it. It was overtime. I can't recall if it was overtime or not.
I think it was just last seconds of the fourth.
Yeah, so it was just a good game overall. Glad to see them get their first win because I know it's rough waiting on that, man. Trust me, I waited until week 13 for it last year. Oh, you guys actually... No, they won their first game, so yeah. It's rough. Yeah. It's rough. So it's good to get one, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of funny, though, when they panned the camera off to Urban Meyer, he just was literally, like, emotionless.
Yeah.
Like, not even a look in his face, and I thought it was the funniest thing in the world. I was like, dude, this guy's entire job is at risk right now. And he's just sitting here. He doesn't even care that they just won, or at least that's what he looks like. I know deep down somewhere he probably cared, but good for the Jags, man. It was really cool to watch them celebrate at the end, too.
Yeah,
and, like they were just in the end zone. Everyone's running on the field and stuff. But what other way for the Jags to do it except for not doing it in an American stadium? Finally getting their first win after 20 losses. It's not even in America, but more power to them.
You know that they've been the most team played the most out in London already. I think they have 8 games so far. I'm thinking they might be the move because the NFL wants to obviously expand and go other places and stuff. They might need a move to London. Just something to keep an eye on, but they definitely could be that option. I know they love playing there, and obviously playing 8 games already, you got a fan base growing. So
seriously, yeah. I wonder what their record would be. Like, what their record is.
Well, I wonder how that would work, because if you move a team out to London, you're telling me you're going to play a 9:30 game every day. And you're telling me you're going to make a team fly out to London every weekend, yeah.
And what about when they have to fly to L.A. to play against the Rams? It's like a 15-hour flight.
Yeah, definitely asking for a lot.
Yeah, that's a little bit too much. I understand where they're coming from though, the NFL and like, wanting to expand. Like, yeah, more power to you. That's a lot more money coming in. That's a lot more interest. That's a lot more fans. But
Yeah.
just got to do it the right way, I would have to say.
Yeah, 100% agree. My second game I wanted to touch on, the Ravens crushing the Chargers 34-6. Right now, it's between Lamar and, as we talked about before, Kyler Murray, MVP for me. These guys are balling out right now.
Yeah. Lamar hasn't stopped, I mean, since he's gotten into this league. Like, he's, quickest quarterback to 25 wins, just beat out Dan Marino. He's breaking a different statistic or a different, thing every single week. And I don't see that stopping anytime soon. And, it's funny. Someone tweeted this the other day, but basically after their win, the Chargers scout was the one who asked him to run routes. When he first got into the combine and stuff, asked him to line up as a wide receiver.
Oh,
so if I would have known that beforehand, man, I would have bet the mortgage on Baltimore that they were going to beat the Chargers. Are you kidding me? You think he forgot about that? I think he wants to play lights out against people like that all day long. He plays with this chip on his shoulder, man, where it's just he doesn't care what team you are, who you are, what what anyone thinks of you. He's going out there to win every single game. He's a great leader. He's great for the Ravens. He's just great for the city. He's out here taking pictures left and right with all of these fans and stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's just Lamar Jackson, I think, has completely shocked the entire NFL in the past 3 years, 4 years, and just really made this huge difference for the Ravens where it's just how can you not root for this guy, one? And like you said, how could you not vote for him as an MVP? He does it all.
Again, yeah. Yeah, it's really outstanding. I mean, what Lamar can really do. And, I mean, listen, we've seen mobile quarterbacks, Vic and Cam and all them, but I don't think we've seen anybody like Lamar. I mean, he moves different, bro. He moves different.
And it's not even just on his feet. People, when he first got in, the Louisville coaches told people, yeah, he's a pocket passer. And everyone laughed. But if you see how much poise he has in the pocket, it's unbelievable. He is a pocket passer. Maybe he wasn't as good as one in his first couple years, but he definitely is now. And, I mean, he's, like I said, man, every single game he gets better and better. He's got all these awesome accolades coming. Louisville just retired his jersey. He beat Dan Marino's record. I mean, you just go down the line of everything. He has more yards by himself than 18 other teams do in the entire NFL.
I'm sure the Jets are one of them.
I would put the Giants into that category too.
It makes me feel a little bit.
There's 16 other teams after that who also don't have that yardage. But nonetheless, man, it's just you got to give credit where it's due because he is superb. He's playing out of his mind, man. Out of his mind.
Yeah, for sure. And my last game I wanted to touch on really, we touched on a little bit earlier. That's Cardinals beating the Browns 37-14. Murray, like I said, I think he's MVP as well. He's up there. He's playing great. But what I got to talk about is Baker Mayfield. And he's worrying me, man, because he's in a contract year. They got to figure out what they have in him. I know he has the injury, but if you're going to play, you got to play better than what you've been doing. It's as simple as that.
100%. Yeah, you can use the whole injury aspect of things to a certain extent, but if you're that hurt that it's hurting your own team, then sit out a couple games, get healthy. I think we all know what Baker's capable of. We saw it last year. He is talented. He does have a lot of poise. He is a pretty good leader as well for the Browns, the same way that Lamar is for the Ravens. But it's really just a matter of the entire team clicking. You have two of the best running backs in the entire league. You have really good wide receivers. You have great assets. You have great tight end. Your defense is superb. You just built it up. You spent so much money on it.
Yep.
They're losing heartbreaking games. The loss for them for the Chargers, that was a tough one, especially when you put up 42 points and you're still losing. But they got absolutely smacked in the mouth by the Cardinals, man. And I think it's just going to be a wake-up call for them because they're in that division where it's tough. Those four teams can go in and out of each other all year long. Pittsburgh just won. I think they're now 4-2. 4-2, 3-3, something along the lines.
I think 3-3. Yeah.
But
no, maybe you're right. 4-2. I'll check that. You keep going though.
Yeah, but just along the lines of that, it's just one of those things where it's if they want to win, if they want to get a wild card, if they want to grab anything in their division, they're going to have to start winning, and they're going to have to start doing it as soon as they can. Granted, I get it. They played the Cardinals, probably the toughest team to go up against at this very moment, but still, losing 37-14 doesn't show a lot of hope for that team. And I think it shocked a lot of people. The line was 3 points, you know?
Yeah, and the Cardinals didn't have their head coach out with COVID. So, I mean, you definitely had some help on your side there, and you just kind of blew it. And I know Baker has the, I think it's the labrum, he said, his shoulder or something. Some injury. And before I forget, Steelers are 3-3. Check that.
3-3.
But with Baker being injured, so then Odell came out and said, oh, yeah, I've basically been playing for that for the last 10 years. It's not something that you really need surgery on, but if you want it, you can get it. He made that kind of comment. That makes me think, like, so is he telling Baker, like, hey, suck it up, let's play? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, soft,
so is he trying to say that, or is he just saying, like, listen, man, the injury is what it is, like, you try and play through it? You know what I'm saying? I couldn't really tell what he was saying, but that goes back to my whole point. If you want to play, if you're going to play, you got to play better than that. You can't sit here and blame an injury, and that's what he came out in this sling after the press conference. Well, if you have to put it in a sling, maybe you shouldn't play that week. I don't know, man. It's something to think about. I get you might lose a couple games, but at this point, are you really just going to torture your shoulder in a contract year?
And, I mean, the other thing, too, is, like, the whole fact that he has a torn labrum, it's so much more different for a quarterback than a wide receiver. Quarterbacks are taking a lot of brutal hits where they're open to, after they're throwing the ball, landing on that shoulder is going to be insane pain. If it is his throwing shoulder, too, that's even worse. It's even worse. It's no help to him at all. So, I mean, OBJ with his comments is nothing new for everyone in the NFL.
That's a fair point. But, that is a fair point.
Just looking at this team, I can't agree with you anymore, Nick, man. It's just one of those things where it's like you guys got to get it together, and you got to do it relatively soon here. So if that means Baker has to sit out 2 weeks, heal his shoulder, and not have to walk around in a sling every single time he plays a football game, I think that's the best bet. Yeah. And if they're waiting on a bye week, I'm pretty sure that doesn't come until a lot later for them.
Oof. Yeah, I don't know their bye week, but I mean, hopefully it's coming.
Their bye week is 13. Yeah, oof. They need to pull that together now.
Yeah, so they got, what, 7 more games now? 6 more games? Oof. Yeah, that's rough. But to keep it in the division, I know you had a couple games to talk about.
So I'm going to change up divisions on the first one that I wanted to talk about. But I retract my statement from what I said last week or the last time we did the show. Dallas is the real deal. I'm just going to go ahead and say they are the real deal. I think so. We've been talking about this for years, about how they have so much talent and how it hasn't clicked. We're watching them click. And this is another thing with 2 great running backs with Zeke and Tony Pollard, and just a great wide receiver group between all of them, a decent tight end, and a defense that's finally coming together. It's just they look good, like game in and game out kind of thing. And I finally decided that I will give them their credit, and that they are a team worth watching out for, man. I mean, I think they get the division like we talked about earlier, but where it goes after that is going to be very, very interesting. However, I kind of got some faith with them.
Yeah, and I mean, I thought their 3 receivers were nice in Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and Gallup. You add in this other guy, Wilson, I think is number 1. Where did he come from, bro? I had no clue. And next thing you know, he's just catching and going, bro.
Yeah, and he's just a bailout for Dak at this point. Yeah. Because more than likely, that guy's open all day long. If they have to, double Amari, figure out how to cover CD. And Gallup's a little speedster, but this guy's faster than Gallup is. And he's coming from right to left, left to right. Like, they can't keep up with all of these guys. So I'd be really interested to see them run a couple different sets out here where it's, 4 wide receivers, a nice little spread, and defenses are just sitting there like, there's no shot, man. Yeah. There's no shot. And as long as they can continue to protect Dak and, with that really good offensive line, like, that is a very, very scary team this year. So, big ups to them, big credit, but we'll see how it ends up going.
Yeah, for sure.
Dallas might Dallas. Cowboys might Cowboy. The next team I want to talk about is just Cincinnati. Man, I mean, I know they played Detroit this week, and it isn't anything to, really go crazy about with their win, but they continue to win, man. I think the score was like 34-3 for a majority up until like the end of the fourth quarter when finally Detroit came back and scored a touchdown with DeAndre Swift. Yeah. But before that, I mean, Cincinnati's playing lights out. I'm not expecting anything crazy from them. Again, they're in that division with the Browns, Ravens, and the Steelers. But again, we'll just give them credit where it's due and just recognize that that's a very young team that's all playing together. All of their wide receivers are extremely young. Their quarterback is extremely young. Their defense is extremely young. They might be another up-and-coming team that finally becomes an issue, and they're just kind of like, they might just be looking at this year like it's just practice, man. Like they're just trying to get those connections going. They're just trying to figure it out. They know that they probably don't have the biggest hopes and dreams to win a Super Bowl, but they could see one in their near future if they continue to build onto that team.
Yeah, and I was actually worried about them this week just because Dan Campbell, I don't know, man. After last week's loss, he was crying in the presser, talking about his team. I thought they were going to be pumped up, ready to go, dog. I was nervous, but the Bengals pulled through. Bengals pulled through.
Dude, that was honestly, though, I love to see it, man. I really love to see it from him because he, like, at least I can look at that guy and I'm like, he cares. Like, he cares about Detroit. He cares about his team. And I guarantee his team probably looks at him and thinks the same way about him. So, I mean, more credit to Detroit. I hope that they can figure something out. Like, I'm not saying they're a lost cause. I'm just saying that they're years away from really pulling something together here.
Now, I got a quick question for you. So, hopefully I don't get you off topic with the Lions. So if they get number one pick, do they go quarterback? Do they try and build with Goff? I mean, because if you think about it, what quarterback you taking this year? None have looked like a number one pick.
I mean, except for the guy from Ole Miss. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's okay.
He's the only quarterback worth taking. Matt Corral. He's the only quarterback I think that's worth taking a look at. I mean, Spencer Rattler was supposed to be this. Yeah. He is just.
He might hit the transfer.
I don't even know what to say about him at this point.
And then Sam Howell too, UNC, completely dropped.
Yeah, he's another one, man. He just kind of had a huge drop off here. Quarterback from Coastal Carolina is decent. I can't remember what his name is, but he's been having a pretty good year. But even him, man, I'm not taking my first overall pick and putting it towards him. There's a different player out there that they will also need that they can go out and get. But for now, you can't go with Jared Goff, man. He is not playing good this year. I think it's kind of like the Josh Rosen effect. Like what we saw happen to Josh Rosen is about to happen to Jared Goff. It's just Jared Goff has been to a Super Bowl and kind of has like something, underneath him. But it's just, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Jared Goff bounce from team to team to team. Or actually, you could say like the Nick Foles effect. And I love Nick Foles to death. I think he'll just be a great quarterback, great guy. Yeah, but it's just that dude. Like, yeah, he'll just be a backup, and maybe Jared Goff is all right with that. But you saw what happened when they traded Jared Goff for Matt Stafford, and now Matt Stafford is playing lights out with the same exact team that Jared Goff had. So
yeah, for sure.
I don't think you can build with that. And last team, actually, speaking of the devil, the LA Rams, man. I like them a lot. I think that. Honestly, right now, I know I said before that the Bucs and Chiefs are going to have round 2 this year in the Super Bowl. I think the Rams are going to squeeze in, man. And that is a terrifying team on both sides of the ball. You can't cover all of their wide receivers, and on defense, they're just playing lights out every single game.
Yeah, Aaron Donald is ridiculous, bro, as always. I mean, you just to see it year in and year out, so consistently. I mean, it's fun to watch. It really is fun to watch.
Yeah, man. I couldn't agree more. Cooper Kupp, another insane game. He had like 130 yards, 9 receptions, and 2 touchdowns. Like this guy and Matt Stafford they were like made for each other for quarterback and wide receiver duo, man. Like they're just out here. I think that's his 7th or 8th touchdown of the year already. So. I mean, if you double cover him, Robert Woods is screaming up the sideline. If you want to grab on Robert Woods, Van Jefferson's there. Like they just have way too much talent on that offensive side of the ball. Matt Stafford, he just gets to, he's just having fun with it. Yeah. Good for Matt Stafford for finally getting in a terrible position with Detroit and being on a winning team. Mm-hmm. So, I give him, I hope the best for him.
He deserves the fun.
Him continue to win.
He deserves to have fun.
Yeah.
That's all you got with that's 3 teams?
Yep, that's my 3 teams. Man.
All right, and we'll one more thing I want to touch on, our bets we put out every week. Thursdays, we get the fans involved, everybody that listens. You give us one leg of we'll take 5 legs in a parlay. You give us one leg, tweet it out in our replies on Thursday night for Thursday Night Football. We'll put it into a whole parlay of 5, put our own money in, and if it hits, we pay you guys. So definitely something to look out for on Thursdays. Saturday and Sunday morning, so we'll have the college football picks, NFL picks. Keep an eye out for that. I've been on fire lately. I think the Panthers are the only one I missed on my bets this week, I believe. So definitely something to look out for. Hunter, I ain't check your confusing ass bet with all these player props, but I probably did hit. Let's be real.
I didn't do that good. I did not do that good.
Oh my goodness. Let's not be real. Let's not be real.
2 for 5. 2 for 5.
Okay.
Nonetheless, I was going for some Hail Mary throws.
Yeah, listen, we were trying to win some money. I feel it, 100%.
Yeah, we're trying to win some money.
But yeah, you catch that all on our Twitter at Russo's Playbook at LittleBlack22. You can find this episode on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Russo'sPlaybook.com. And we'll catch you guys again next week.